What's up, everybody? Jason from Straight Edge Knives, and I am super excited for today's review. Mostly because this is kind of the first look at it in action for a lot of people. Now, some of you guys have seen this knife on social media through like videos at SHOT Show and Blade Show and things like that. But I'll tell you what, guys, I got my hands on it. I'm ready to show it to you. Man, this thing is going to be dropping here really soon, and you better be ready to pick it up because it's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty damn awesome. And we're going to see it because I'm going to put it to the test as well. But today, right now, what we're going to start with is we're going to go over give you a first look at it, go over the specs, give you some size comparisons, and then we're going to get to testing this bad boy out. I hope you guys are ready because, well, it's sitting right here if you didn't notice it, but look at this bad boy. And if you don't know what this is yet, let's just go ahead and let you know what it is. It is the Tops Knives Lilith. Let's get this bad boy out. Woo-hoo-hoo, look at this nasty beast right here. Look at this. Look at that. I'm trying to make sure I got this thing nice focus for you guys. Look at that. This thing is just cool on so many levels. Even if you never did anything with this thing, just owning it bumps up your cool factor just because, I mean, this is like something you'd have seen in the Book of Eli or Resident Evil or something, man. But it's just, oh, you got this ring here, this handle, like the blade shape. This thing is just nasty. And you know what? Let's just jump right into the specs real quick on this. Overall length on this is 20.63 inches. The blade length is 14 inches total. Your cutting edge is 13.5 inches, so it starts right here, comes all the way over the tip. Your blade thickness is 0.25. Let's get you guys to look at the back side. It's 1095 high carbon steel with a 56 to 58 Rockwell hardness, which is typical of Tops. This has a tactical gray powder coat. So this doesn't have the actual Cerakote on this one. It has a tactical gray powder coat. You have tan canvas micarta handles. Looks like you have some red liners in there. Got a nice lanyard hole. The weight on this is 31.2 ounces. And you're looking at 41.6 ounces with the black Kydex sheath that has a dangler attachment to it. And this was designed by Jason Johnson, aka Pro Knife Thrower. If you guys haven't seen any of his videos, definitely go check him out on YouTube and Instagram. I'll put links to his Instagram in the description below. That dude can, this is actually based off of a design that he made, and this is the production model essentially of it. But if you guys watch videos of him, man, he could twirl this thing around his finger, throw it, and all kinds of crazy stuff. I can't imagine throwing this. I mean, I'm sure I could, but I don't know if I'd be any good at it. But golly, look at this thing. It's just wicked. Now, the blade style on here, I've seen it. To me, it's kind of like a kukri, like a modified kukri in a way, like almost like a Tonto kukri, if you will. I mean, because it's just, I mean, you can see there, you got this kind of sweep in here, and then but then you got this part, and so it's just interesting. It's just got a really cool look to it. You have, which is unusual for a big chopper, usually the end of the handles are flared out, and which I could show you on some of these others for size comparison. Like if you take a look at, let's say like here, right here we have the Storm Vector. If you look at that handle, you see how it kind of flares out. Typically that's, you know, to help it keep it in your hand. But Jason Johnson is a knife thrower, and typical, I think most throwing knives tend to have like a more tapered shape on the end, so as they throw it, it kind of slides right out of the hand. But to help with your chopping tasks, because this thing's a heavy chopper, this is what this is going to be, honestly, in my opinion. You have this ring up here, and one thing that I did notice is as I've been handling this and swinging it around, one thing I noticed that I'm really glad Tops did, because it would have been a problem if not, is down here at the bottom of the ring, you can see this right here. This is all rounded off. It's not, there's not a sharp edge, like this isn't sharp, but there's not like a edge like here, down here on the bottom. This is all rounded off all the way around. So as you put your finger in here, your finger is going to be resting on nice rounded edges. And then it's nice and rounded right here where your middle finger is going to be resting as well. So when we get into the chopping, we're definitely going to find out if it's going to hurt your finger or not. But just from what I've been feeling, like handling this, swinging it around, just kind of getting a feel for it, it doesn't feel like it's going to be a problem. But obviously, if it is, we'll let you know when we get to doing all of our heavy chopping and testing. But man, I can tell you what, this between right here and right here, this spot is just going to be the nasty sweet spot for chopping. And this thing has a super acute tip. You got a fuller that runs all the way down. Where it dips down right here, you got kind of a thumb ramp with no jimping, but this kind of swedges a little bit. It's like a slight swedge through here. So it gives it a really cool look if you guys can see that. Man, the thing looks just awesome. And like I said, it feels really good. You do have this nice Kydex sheath. It is an open back design with a retention strap, similar to like what they did with El Chete and the Storm Vector. But you got the strap off. You can slide this right in here. Locks into place. With the strap off, you can easily, it'll pop out nice and easy. Or you can come straight out with it if you'd like. However you like to draw your blade like this. I would suggest that if you're out hiking around, definitely keep the retention strap on, because this isn't like super tight. So as you can see there, it could pop out easily, like if you fell down. So I would definitely keep the dot retention system on there, because once that's locked in, man, this thing does not come out. It doesn't move. Very, very secure. Then you pop that off, ready to rock and roll, get to business, right? So you do have this nice dangler as well. So you can do it that way, or you have a few holes here. I'm sure you could probably attach some sort of molly strap to a backpack if you like. There's a lot of different ways you could configure stuff nowadays, depending on what you want. But actually, just kind of slide in there, locks into place. But again, definitely when you're moving around, I would definitely keep the retention strap on. Some others, like El Chete and stuff like that, you can actually get away with not having the retention strap on, and it's okay. This one is, because it's a bit heavier, I would not suggest doing that. But pop it off, like I said, bam, get to work, right? So there it is. There it is. It's the Lilith, right? So let's take a look at a couple of knives for some size comparison, because I know it's kind of like you're looking at it and you're like, where does this fit size-wise? So I have a few actually quite large knives because I love big knives, but this right here, guys, is the Work Tough Gear Puzon Predator Hunter. Big old giant Bowie blade, but let's stand these up next to each other. I mean, you're getting, sorry, look at the camera here, you're getting quite a bit more blade length. You're getting about probably 2 more inches of blade length on this, but you do have a wider blade with a Predator Hunter, a little bit thicker handle, so to speak. So you can kind of compare those. They're similar, right? Let's take a look. We'll jump up here to the Apex, the Apex from Work Tough Gear. Big old kind of, I like to call it my pirate machete, man, but look at this thing. This thing's pretty cool too. But put these up next to each other. Again, you're still getting a couple of more inches of length out of the Lilith. About the same thickness, steel thickness, and like I said, just kind of a couple of little size comparisons. I think I got a skeeter biting me. Get it? No, I'm just kidding. No, don't do that, kids at home. So for the Apex there, kind of show those. And of course, let's take the Tops Knives Storm Vector. Beautiful blade as well. Again, you're getting more blade length with the Lilith than you are the Storm Vector. Definitely different blade shapes, as you can see there. Same, pretty much the same thickness, nice 1/4 inch thick. And I do have reviews on all of these blades that I'm showing you on my channel, so if you're interested in looking at any of these other ones, feel free to go find those videos. A little bit longer here, we got the Tops Knives Kumakaze. So I see some similarities here, like at the tips of the blades. Obviously with the Kumakaze, you are getting the longer blade with the Kumakaze by maybe a couple of inches, if you can see that there. But I don't want to say similarities, but if you look at the top parts of both these blades, they're both kind of got like this one's definitely more rounded, where you have more of this angular section on the Lilith here. But Kumakaze is a little bit longer. Pop that bad boy back in there. And then last but not least, the iconic El Chete. Bust this big bad boy out. So you're definitely getting a little bit more length with El Chete, or not El Chete, with the Lilith, and then you are with El Chete. But man, check them out. So for some size comparisons, I just wanted to kind of line up a few things just to give you a rough idea. I've had a couple of people kind of say, well, how's it comparing size to the Storm Vector or things like that? And so I wanted to be able to kind of bust out some size comparisons for you. A couple of different manufacturers, but these are all like some of my big blades, like the and I think I'm going to classify this as in my big blade category. I'm going to classify this into my cool ass chopper category is what I'm going to do, because this thing is just a beast. And man, I cannot wait to get out and start doing some chopping with this and show you guys. I'm really super excited to see how well it chops as well. Obviously, if you can look at it, I haven't done any chopping with it yet, so I'm going to break this sucker in. And as far as I know, this is going to be the first review released on this with some actually testing use done. So, guys, stay tuned. I think this is going to be pretty damn fun. And, man, I'm really looking forward to showing this thing in action. So, we're going to shoot on over to the testing area, and we're going to get at it. Stay tuned. Well, if we're going to get to testing, we might as well start it off by just wailing on this 4x4, right? Got a good old 4x4. We got a Lilith. Let's see what we can get going. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. Woo, got a little deflection there. That was on me though. Oh my gosh, we're gonna get through this. 4x4 is already starting to split up through here. Look at that. Oh man. One thing I will say, when I'm coming down an angle, I need to be careful, because sometimes I come in at too much of an angle and I hit here, kind of deflects. So woo. Yeah, get you some. Look at that. So, with my finger in the ring, it feels pretty good, except for if I loosen my grip a little bit and I hit while my grip is still a little loose, I do hit my finger on the ring. As long as I'm keeping my grip tight, that's not a problem. But one thing I am curious about too, if I take my finger out of the ring, how much grip can I get with this tapered end here, right? So actually feels pretty good. I don't feel like it's slipping out of my hand. Let's see if this will stand up here. See if we can get I'm gonna lock my finger in here. Look at that. Look at that. Look how long that was to split it. Stay up. That's what she said. Oh, got one in there. My stump here is not the most even thing in the world. Oh, look at that. Woo-wee. Let's check this edge. Oh man, that's still nice and sharp, baby. Look at this. See that? Oh man, this thing is still straight. Everything's good. Oh man, we're gonna keep going with this. We're gonna keep doing some more testing. Stay tuned while I get some more stuff set up. What's up, everybody? Hey, we're out here at the old Pozo Creek here. We're going to do some testing. We're going to walk around here. We're going to find some stuff like this old down tree. We're going to do some chopping on it and, you know, this and a few other various things. We're going to show off, you know, some more capabilities of the Lilith from Tops Knives, designed by Jason Johnson, right? So we're going to be able to come in here, kind of whack off some of this stuff real easy. No problem. Get this stuff out of here. And basically, this is just a dead tree that fell over. Kind of blocks a little bit of a path that people use to go four-wheeling and stuff like that. So it's not a bad thing to cut this up a little bit, but you know, we're gonna kind of do that. And actually what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna get a nice up close look at the stump right here so you guys can actually see this chopping really good and not just see my big old ugly mug. So stay tuned. I'm gonna adjust this camera angle and we're gonna get at it. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and chop on this bad boy right here. Gonna get at it. Got a like nice, better up close view. Let me get this branch out of my way. Get that thing out of here. That way I can get right up in here. Here we go. We're not gonna try to cut all the way through this, but we're just gonna get some nice, big, heavy chops in on it. See what it does. See this bad boy at work. Got a nice little knot right here. Kind of come in and do some backhand chops. You can actually even get somewhat of a two-handed grip on here. You kind of have to interlock your fingers a little bit, but if you wanted to get a little bit more of a power chop in there, you can do it as well. If you had to come in and be a little bit more precise, you could get those little kind of light chops in there. Primarily where I'm trying to hit with is this spot right through there. That's kind of the sweet spot I'm trying to use to hit. Man, this tree is old and it is hard. So there you can see, we could keep on chopping on this, but it's going to be, you know, take a little bit because it is a pretty thick old stump. But I just wanted to kind of show you guys hitting something a little bit thicker and bigger. That edge is still sharp. This little kind of almost point, it's still there, no problem. Yeah, it still feels really sharp. But little light limb work, could easily come in, do that type of stuff. You can come in and do the bigger stuff as well. Let's go find some more shit to cut up. All right, guys, hey, we found this other stick right here. It's kind of, I mean, we can move it out of the way, but why do that when we could chop it? So kind of want to show you guys. So this is hanging off my belt with the dangler. Hangs down to about my knee. Again, you definitely want to use this retention strap, but pop it off. Got this little thumb wrap. Comes right out, right? Not a problem. Easy peasy. Let's chop on this bad boy. Make sure it's secure, though. We don't want it flying off on us. So let's go. Kicking up the dust. Again, this is a really old piece of wood. It's probably been out here for years. So it's nice and seasoned and hard. I mean, you could always cut on green wood, which is a little easier, but we're testing the edge, retention. We're testing the toughness of this blade. So I don't mind if it takes a little longer to cut through a piece of wood like this for these videos. So I want you guys to see that's a tough blade. And I want to see if it's a tough blade. And I'm also out of shape, so you hear me huffing and puffing. Here's a little tip: don't get fat like me. But There we go, kind of broke through. Still nice and sharp. I don't see any chips or rolls. Very good. Let's go find something else. All right, guys. Hey, we found this old tire out here in this creek. We're gonna do some stab testing with this right here. I'm gonna flip it around, get my pinky in that ring. We're just gonna, oh yeah, right through that tire, no problem. Let's come in this way. Get some sawing motion through this thing. Stabbing through it. No problem. Stab testing, almost right into the tread right there. Yeah. So, if you had to stab through a tire, we know you got it covered. So, one thing I want to bring up real quick that I just noticed before I started stabbing this is whenever you're gripping this, you want to make sure you have a nice, tight grip. I noticed when I was chopping that if my grip was a little bit loose, that's when I would feel my finger kind of slip in this ring. And actually when I was chopping with my left hand, which is my non-dominant hand, my grip was a little loose and that ring kind of pulled a little bit of skin off my finger right there. Not a big deal because, I mean, I guess it is a big deal if you chop with a loose grip all the time, but definitely want to keep your hand locked in. Once you do that, this thing doesn't go anywhere. It feels way better. So, and then you're not going to have your loosey grip and you're not going to actually kind of slide your finger off. So something to note, make sure you have a nice tight grip. Plus you don't want this thing going flying out of your hand, right? So let's go find some more stuff to chop. All right, everybody, what's up, man? We found this old kind of rickety ass tire swing. This is going to be dangerous for some poor kid. So let's see if we can't fix this problem. Bam. Got your straps here. Cut them off like that. Bam, cut them off. So we know we can cut through some straps. All right, everybody, we're gonna head back to the truck and head back to the house. Kind of run out of different stuff to cut around here. But so far, if you guys can see this on my hip, I wanted to show you guys kind of how it looks, how it carries on the hip, because it is a bigger blade. So as you can tell, it goes down to my knee, but the weight of the blade keeps it pretty vertical. And it doesn't swing a whole lot as I'm walking. And I don't feel like it's bumping into my leg a lot either. So I can imagine on a long hike, if it kept, smacking my leg, it would start to bruise your knee and stuff like that. But right now, the way it's carrying, it's just kind of swinging this way. Kind of hits my leg a little bit sometimes, but not really. So I think overall, you'd be okay if you carry this on your belt on a hike. Like I said, you kind of see it swinging. But again, that weight's really keeping it more vertical. So like I said, this is kind of a cool area. We used to come hang out here a lot. But anyway, just kind of wanted to show you guys how it carried on the belt, because I know that's something I don't show very often in my videos. So thought I'd give you guys a look at that. So we're gonna head on back to the house, do some more testing, and we're gonna wrap this up actually gonna talk to Jason Johnson, the designer, here in a little bit, get some insights on the design, and I'll pass that info along to you as well. So stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Hey, we're back here at the house out there from the creek, and what was kind of cool was driving home, I was actually able to speak to Jason Johnson, the designer of the Lilith, and I got some cool information that I didn't know. So earlier in the video, I kind of spoke on a couple of things I was wrong about, just because I didn't know, and which is why I think it's awesome that I was able to get to talk to Jason and find out some, more actual information. So one thing to note is he considers this a Bowie knife, like a very large Bowie knife, but a Bowie knife nonetheless. And this ring isn't necessarily meant to be a ring for your finger to go into. It is a ring guard. Instead of a traditional, maybe like cross hilt guard or something like that, this is more traditional to some older style Bowie knives from back in the day with a ring. But you can use it. You can put your finger in there and help lock your hand in to choke up on it if you need to. But it was more intended to have the full-size grip down here below that ring. So I thought that was really cool that I was able to get that information to be able to pass it on to you here. Very, very cool. The name Lilith, this is actually So let me go back here. So this grind, this blade shape right here, right? You have this grind here, and then you have this grind here where it has like this little transition point. I guess it's considered a nightmare. It's a nightmare grind, if you will, just because of the way it has to transition, things like that. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. It's considered a nightmare. Well, the term Lilith is a reference to Eve being cast out of Eden, the Garden of Eden, or whatever, and she became the first nightmare, so to speak. I could be screwing this story all up, so please, if you know the story, forgive me. But she's considered, she became from Eve to Lilith, and Lilith is like the first kind of nightmare, the first nightmares that came into existence, I guess. So I thought that was kind of cool. So because of the nightmare grind, Lilith was the first nightmare, hence the name Lilith. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, man, so it was really cool, awesome getting to talk to Jason Johnson, kind of finding out some of that information and stuff like that. And so, you know, traditionally this is going to be a full grip like so, and you know, there it is. But you can lock your finger into here. So let's get this water bottle out of the way. I was taking some drinks, and this gets a little bit more of the standard kind of testing that I do. Just wanted to pass that info along to you before, you know, we got any farther. So here we got some regular old sisu rope, right? You guys see me cut this stuff a million times, but you know, I like to come in here. Now, granted, guys, be aware, I have been beating on this, you know, out there. You've seen all that stuff. This is way after I've done all that type of footage. Bam, cut through the rope, sisu rope. Yep. Now we got a upper tip up here. We're gonna come in, cut that right in half, and I just dropped it. But you know, there you go. You can easily come in here, chop the stuff off. Ah, yeah, look at that. Take this, you can save it, you know, crumple it up, use it for, like I said, fire starter. Yeah, I drove some of that rope into the log right here. So, guys, this thing, after all that beating on it, it's held up pretty damn good. This has got a nice stout edge. This thing's still pretty sharp. I like it, man. So, that's this kind of thinner sisu rope, right? Here we got this cotton rope. This stuff's pretty easy to cut most of the time. Let's try to go up here with this upper part of the blade. Bam, right there. Cut it off. Not a problem. Bam, come in here. Cut it. So even after all that beating on it, you know, you're still able to come here and cut rope. Here's that thicker sisu rope, right? This stuff's a little bit tougher on an edge. Come in here. Bang. Cut that right off. Made a big ass mess. Not an issue. Here we got the 3000 PSI rated pressure hose. Gonna come in here. If I wanted to, let me see, I'm gonna choke up on this a little bit. I'm gonna come in here and see what I can do. Kind of like use the front part of this. Yeah, it's cutting it. Just the problem is that when I get to here, it gets the secondary grind. Makes it a little bit tougher to cut. I'd say that's more of a user error than it is a blade error. That's more on me, but it's cutting in there, not a problem. But we're gonna come in here. Ooh, chop it. Oh man, that thing flew way over there. That flew way over there. So you had to come in here and kind of cut up some of that hose. Do it. Let's say, oh, you know what? We got, so here's the fire hose. So this is one that I've already been kind of cutting on. We're going to fold this over right here. We're going to come in here and chop it. Bam, cut through that, no problem. But I wanted to come in here with a fresh piece and to show you guys, this is literally a fire hose. This is the roll that I've been using. You can see there's a coupler, but let's roll this up a little bit. I'm gonna put this right here. Cut a chunk off like so. Set that down on the side. So here's a brand new fresh piece. If you guys don't know, fire hose is 2 layers of canvas with a piece of rubber that's glued inside that inner piece. So it's thick, durable, resistant. You know, it's able to you know, be cut, abrasion resistant, things like that, because it obviously goes through car wrecks and things, you know, when there's an emergency. But we're going to stab through here. There we go. Bang, look at that. Cutting right through. So sometimes doing these cuts with a bigger knife is trying to find the right angle to pull it or push it without, you know, accidentally slipping and cutting yourself. Is a little tricky sometimes, but again, I think that's more my error than it is the knife than anything, because you know I still consider myself a novice at doing this type of stuff, but I like to do it for you guys because I like to show, you know, kind of stuff that average everyday people do. Now with a more seasoned knife veteran like Jason be able to maybe zip right through that probably a lot faster than me, absolutely, I have no doubt. But you know, it is what it is. Like I said, most people are going to be like me, just kind of doing basic stuff, cutting whatever, chopping through some branches, trees, and stuff like that. So that's why I kind of show this off. We're going to stack a bunch of this up on itself, though. Make it a little bit thicker to cut through, and we're going to see if we can't cut through this. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Got through most of it. Look at that. Nice clean cut right there. There we go. Finished it off. So let's stack these up and see. I mean, this thing is a chopper. I mean, it's really, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's going to be used for. You're going to use this thing for chopping more than anything, I think. Damn, look at that. So, interesting to note, it stopped. It didn't cut completely through this, but here's where I'm going to show you guys what it did. So, this lower piece right here cut all the way through, but if you can see, there's a slight gap up here. So, the stump stopped the blade down here, which didn't allow this piece to cut all the way through down here. It's not that it couldn't cut through it, it's just the, you know, the ergonomics of the blade prevented it from being cut all the way through. Well, if I come up here and use this front tip, it's cutting through pretty easily, not a problem. So there we go, made a big ass mess. So let's get into our stab test here. Here we got the old catalog, right? About what? Couple inches thick, inch and a half thick maybe. Big old catalog here. Ag source, all your ag needs, trucks and trailers for sale. But we're gonna come in and stab it, and went all the way through. The tip is right there. It probably would have continued to go through more if it hadn't been for the stump, obviously stopping it. But will it stab through a catalog? Absolutely. Let me scoot back a little bit here. Get my water bottle out of the way, and we're gonna, so you know I've cut the corners off these, right, and makes it all the confetti, right? But I'm gonna try and we're gonna see if we can't cut a bigger section of this corner off. Should we go with a fresh section? Yeah, let's go with a fresh corner right here. So we cut that one off on the previous video. Here's the whole new corner. Let's see here. Oh man, that, look at that. Pretty much got almost all of it through. That is a lot more of a thicker corner that we cut through. Shot that paper all over there. Man, let's do that again though. Let's see if we can. We're gonna go with the spine cover. So this is actually a little bit thicker. You got all the glue holding the catalog together in there. Let's put this right here. Oh yeah, look at that. That is literally holding on by what I would consider a thread. Look at that. I can stick my finger through. There's just the slightest few little pieces right here that are holding that together. I think we can get through a whole corner like that. Let me get up here. I think me sitting down, I'm not able to generate the power that I need as well. So let's do this. Oh man, that was a, look at that. This is pretty good. I like this. Oh yeah. Look at that. That's pretty good. Guys, I made a hell of a mess of paper right now. But dude, that was fun. That was cool. Like, this is, cutting through phone books and paper like that, it's not the easiest thing in the world. That's a lot of mass that you got to get through, especially when you're hitting it, you're compressing it, making everything tighter. So, yeah. So, I think that was pretty good. But let's get back in. We've already seen this thing do some chopping, but you know what? We're going to do a little bit more. One thing we haven't seen to do is some batoning, so we're going to do that as well. But here's the old, what's this, the 2x8, they call it. So we're going to come in here, do some wax on this. Let me flip this around, get to a better spot right here. We're going to see how we go here. We're going with that full grip, not using the ring, right? So, well, just broke a piece off the bottom there. Man, this thing, when it digs in, it wants to dig in. Bam. Bang that piece out too. Why not? So, there's some more chopping for you guys. But, one thing we haven't done with this bad boy is some batoning. And I know a lot of people say, hey, shouldn't be batoning with a knife, this and that. Sometimes you have to. I'm gonna go ahead and do it for you guys so you don't have to. But that way, if you're ever in a situation where you feel like you might need to, will you be able to do it? Well, we're gonna find out. So, should we start with this big one or should we go with the smaller one? Let's try a smaller one first. Sure. This is seasoned almond wood, guys. This stuff's tough, pretty hard. Obviously, you can see there's a big old knot there at the bottom. Let's start down here. Get this baton and stick right here. Whoops. Kind of bounced off where I wanted it. There we go. Bam. That tip got down there. Split that knot pretty easily. So let's do this big boy. I might have to stand up for this one, guys and gals. I know there are some, we do have some ladies that follow the channel. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate you staying tuned for my shenanigans. Let's see, this stump is a little uneven. So we got a big knot right down here, so we'll see how that goes. But let's get at it, baby. Big old thick seasoned almond log here. Look at that. Guys, we're about to see how well this heat treat is because putting a lot of pressure on both sides of this blade. Look at that. Getting through that knot right there. You guys can see that. Do not recommend you really do this unless you absolutely have to. Because again, it puts a lot of pressure on your blade and its edge. Bam. Look at that. Right through it. Look at that giant ass knot I had to get through. Oh, baby. Guys, she's still straight. You know, at one point when I first started hammering through, I got the tip was more down this way. I looked at it. There was bend in the blade. And when I hammered this back down, it straightened back out and it's still straight. Yeah, that's still straight. Not a problem. So, bam, man, if you had to hammer through, do some heavy batoning, it could do it. You know, again, I would use an axe if you have an axe for sure, but sometimes you don't always have an axe. But guys, I mean, there you go. If you had to do that type of stuff, you could. Let's see what else we got here. I got a little wood dowel here, you know. If you had to come in here, you could choke up. Utilize the inner edge here to make some fire curls. Is this going to be the best fire curl making knife in the world? You know, probably not. But again, I'm sure there's some really excellent people out there like Jason Marstetter from Survival University, Joe Flowers, Bushcraft Global, you know, could probably definitely make some way better fire curls with this knife than I could. What I was kind of curious though is if I stick the knife down in right here, you know, you got this nice little slope spot right here. I wonder if you could come in. Oh yeah, see, that is way nicer and easier to make fire curls by doing it that way, because then you're not having to hold up the mass of the blade, right? You come in here and Just kind of shave off your little curls. That is, yep, that's way nicer. So I would definitely say, if you're going to make fire curls with this thing, stick it in a stump. And then you can come in and make all the fire curls and things like that you want. Come in here and use this upper piece. Let's say you had to stand, you could come up here rather than pull it down here. But you could even flip this around. I'm using all the edges here. You can even come down here on the bottom. Use the bottom piece as well. There you go. So if you had to make some fire curls and fire sticks and things like that, you could do it with the Lilith. And then you can come in here and smack the stick like that. I probably should have hit that a little harder. And there it went. Yeah, there you go. Nice clean cut. So, guys. All right, everybody. Sorry, my camera overheated on me. It's still pretty darn hot out here in California. But, guys, this thing is awesome. It's a great blade, man. It's just got a really cool shape to it. It was awesome talking to Jason today and finding out about the ring guard. And finding out about, you know, where the name Lilith came from for the blade, things like that. It was really cool. And I'm hoping maybe here in the future I can get Jason on like a Zoom interview call or something, and we could just talk more about blades in general and things like that. That'd be pretty awesome. So Jason, if you're watching this, you know, I'm gonna see if I can't hit you up, buddy. That'd be pretty cool to have a nice interview with you talking about this and as well as the other blades that you make. But guys, this thing is just really fun, a really cool blade. I think it, you know, it'd be a great, you know, camp knife around the camp for those heavier chores, like I said, chopping maybe up some wood. If you're out hiking, you gotta cut through some heavier brush and things like that. I think it'd be, you know, definitely a good blade to look at for that. And you know, Jason says you can throw these. That's a little outside my wheelhouse. Maybe one day if I ever get to meet Jason in person, maybe he could show me how to, you know, get that rotation to get this thing to stick. But he definitely has videos of him throwing these blades, and it's pretty impressive, man. You wouldn't think that something this big could be thrown like that with that amount of accuracy, but then again, that's why he goes by pro knife thrower, right? So, but if you guys get a chance, I'm going to leave links to Jason Johnson, Pro Knife Thrower's Instagram in the description below. So definitely go check out his Instagram. And guys, this is coming out. Be ready to pick one up because I think it's going to be a good seller for sure. So thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. You know, big shout out to Tops for making great blades. Big shout out to Jason Johnson for designing this cool ass blade and actually when I was talking to him, he talked to me a lot about heat treat and everything else. And so thank you, buddy. I really appreciate that as well. So that was really cool. So here it is, guys. The Lilith. That's my review. Take it or leave it. I try my best for you guys. Hopefully you like it. So thanks again for watching. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below what you think about this blade. If you think it's cool or if you think it's not, whatever, let me know. And helps the algorithm. Hey, that's always a good thing, right? Thanks again for watching. Stay safe, stay sharp, and we'll see you next time.